The national volleyball team is pushing it to the limit. Their training is being monitored by sports scientist Dr. David Smith here at the University of Calgary. Join the team and witness the dedication, discipline, and determination of the national volleyball team to be fit for the final match.
These people, some of them have been on the national team for 7 years, training this hard. The motivation is the Olympic Games. In their opinion, in my opinion, there is nothing like the Olympic Games. The World Championships is not the same. It's only once every 4 years that you have the chance to make the Olympic Games. The training program these athletes are undergoing is based on an analysis of volleyball with reference to speed, anaerobic power, strength and aerobic demands, and the strengths and weaknesses of the specific athletes as determined by physiological testing. The specific training methods for each area are based on the scientific literature and my experience with working with and designing programs for elite athletes over the past 10 years.
Come on now, go, that's it. 110, now come on now, work it, that's it. Good, come on. Good, 120. Good.
The demands of the game of volleyball include arm power for spiking and arm strength for blocking, anaerobic power and strength for repeated jumps, and agility for movement about the court. This weight training program was designed to develop both strength and power at different times in preparation for the final match. This particular program alternates upper body and lower body exercises within the same workout. It incorporates different types of weight training equipment, such as free weights and Hydro-Gym. Hydro-Gym involves only concentric contraction at predetermined speeds. In contrast, free weights has both concentric and eccentric types of muscle contraction. A concentric contraction is the shortening of a muscle under load, whereas an eccentric contraction is muscle lengthening under load, as illustrated by the bench press with free weights. The principle of Hydro-Gym is that the muscles on either side of a joint are required to contract concentrically in succession in order to perform the exercise, whereas free weights isolate a single muscle group. In a week-long volleyball tournament situation, daily matches of up to 3 hours in duration are demanded of the players. Although the sport is anaerobic in nature, the need to recover within and between matches places a high demand on the aerobic system. The measurement of aerobic power can be done directly using sophisticated equipment or through a predictive test. The athletes are being monitored as to their heart rate response to selected workloads. Pedaling frequency is kept constant as the athletes perform the test by keeping time to a metronome. The resistance is adjusted to elicit a specific heart rate response. The relationship between workload and heart rate response is then used to calculate aerobic power. Constant monitoring during the training period allows adjustments to the program to achieve optimum aerobic capacity. Blood analysis is one way to gauge the fatigue of the athlete. These results are used to make judgments on future training programs so that individual training can be optimized. The hemoglobin content of the blood gives a reading of the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. This is important as a means of maintaining or improving aerobic capacity. A greater aerobic capacity may be beneficial in the delay of cumulative fatigue and also assist in the recovery process. One of the important things is to be able to predict where a person is going to be in terms of their fitness level as a result of a training program. That's why we do periodic testing, to evaluate just how effective that particular training program has been. Then we have to go back and analyze where a problem may have occurred. Was it due to overtraining or not doing enough training? This is the important area where I come in, seeing the players train every day and supervising the training myself, so I know exactly how much effort is being put in. Warming up is very important before training. The athletes work towards a heart rate of 120 beats per minute over a 7 to 10 minute time period before intense activity starts. They train at high speeds because volleyball is a high-speed game. The athletes are working against high resistance, at the same time trying to pedal as fast as they can. With each additional repetition, the resistance is lowered slightly to compensate for fatigue, but the athlete still tries to maintain the speed that has been established. When an athlete works at high speed, the muscle fatigues. One waste product of anaerobic activity is lactic acid. The high acidity produced contributes to the fatigue process. When they get off the bikes, the amount of lactic acid in their muscles, together with the pooling of blood in that area, makes it difficult for the athlete to even walk. Over time, they gradually recover. The lactic acid diffuses into the bloodstream and is utilized within the body. Really demanding. After this type of workout, they're absolutely shattered. They then have 4 to 5 hours recovery before they go to their next practice. And in some cases, the coaching staff notice that the practice session after this type of training is somewhat diminished because the players are so drained of energy. The design of a training program for any sport involves training the body to handle the physical demands of competition, as well as training the sport-specific skills. The physical conditioning involves periods of hard training and periods of reduced training, particularly prior to and during competition. This is necessary in order to allow the body to recover from the training overload and to adjust the skill performance to the increased capacities of the body. This is called a tapering phase. During the periods of heavy training, the overall sport performance will reflect aspects of fatigue. However, when the training volume is reduced and the intensity is maintained or accelerated, there is a rebound in the physical performance. The key to success is to time the rebound to coincide with the competition. I asked John why he does this to himself, why he pushes himself so hard.
Well, I guess the realization of a dream. If you go into a games like the Olympics with something that you want in mind, you never want to come out saying we didn't do everything we possibly could have done. And we felt like we were in the best physical condition of our lives, which we were.
Many different skills and techniques are used to train these athletes. Surgical tubing is used as an additional training technique specifically for the development of speed. The tubing applies resistance to the muscle, thus allowing the athlete to carry out the sport-specific movements with overload while maintaining the speed required in the normal game situation. All muscle groups around a joint are exercised in a manner as close to the specific skill as possible. By following a well-designed training program and utilizing some of the methods that you have just seen, today's athlete has the potential to achieve maximum fitness. So that when it comes down to that last game, that last race, or that last point, you know you're fit for the final.